Have you ever felt like you were in a fight that you can't win? No matter what you do, no matter how much you explain yourself, it just isn't enough? That's not coincidence. It's manipulation. It's the rich perspective, and we're back again. Thank you. In today's episode of the manipulation series, we're going to discuss 3 more manipulation tactics. So on today's list of toxic traits: triangulation, moving the goalposts, and the silent treatment. If you've ever felt like someone is playing mind games with you, trying to keep you in a cycle of constantly trying to prove yourself, feel inadequate about yourself, or just straight up confused, this one's for you. I do want to disclose that not all manipulators know that they're manipulating. Some people learn these behaviors from their environment, their family, previous relationships, or it may just be a defense mechanism. But here's the thing: intent doesn't erase impact. Whether they're doing it on purpose or not, the results are always the same. You're left feeling powerless, confused, and emotionally drained. So by the end of this video, there are no excuses. If you recognize these behaviors in yourself or another person, it's time to address them. So without further ado, the first one that we're going to go through is triangulation. Triangulation is when someone brings a third party to the mix to aid their goal in manipulating you, essentially. Instead of dealing with conflict head on, they're going to involve a family member, a friend, an associate to gain power over you. Sometimes the third person is knowing of what's going on, and sometimes they are unknowing. But because they are on their side, chances are they will choose their side over yours. So in situations like this, you might hear words like this: even so-and-so agrees with me, you're overreacting. That can also sound like everyone agrees with me, so clearly you're overreacting. It could also sound like you should be more like insert person's name. They wouldn't make such a big deal of this. Or my ex and I never had this problem. Maybe you should take a leaf out of their book. By bringing in another person, be it real or fake, they make you feel like you're the one that can't be reasoned with, like you're the one that has something to prove out of all of this. The best way to shut this down is to direct the conversation back to you and them. So an example could be, I don't care what so-and-so thinks. This is between you and I. So let's deal with this directly. Or form it as a question: why are you bringing someone else into this mix instead of addressing me directly? When someone brings in another person into the discussion or the problem, that is an argument that is not worth entertaining whatsoever. The second tactic that I wanted to discuss is moving the goalposts. Have you ever noticed, no matter how much you do, no matter how much you try, it doesn't matter because the finish line keeps moving. One day they'll tell you what you need, and then when you meet that standards, all of a sudden the standards are set higher. So just wanted to paint out some examples of what that could look like as well. How it could look like is they've requested that you communicate better. So cool, you started communicating better, and guess what happens? I need you to communicate exactly how I want. Or the statement might be, if you really cared, you'd show me affection. So you start showing more affection, but guess what? Now it feels forced, is their response. So no matter what you do, the bar keeps rising. The point isn't to improve the relationship, mind you. It's to keep you stuck chasing for their approval. The best way to respond to this is to stop playing the game with them. Call it out directly. For example, I've done exactly what you've asked, and now you're changing the standard. What's really going on here? It feels like no matter what I do, it's never enough. If the relationship isn't about me proving myself, then what is it about? Just remember, if this is something that you're going through, is that you don't have to chase validation, especially not from someone that isn't aiming to give it to you. I then wanted to cover the last one, which is perhaps my least favorite manipulation tactic: the silent treatment. This one's brutal for many reasons because it preys on your need for closure, communication, and at times even affection as well. There is a core difference here which I want to highlight, which is with the silent treatment, it's done as a form of punishment. It's not about needing space. This happens when someone completely ignores you refuses to acknowledge your existence or withholds affection. Not because they need time to process, but because they know that it will break you down. This isn't also exclusive to romantic relationships. This applies to normal friendships. This also applies to family as well. And this can apply in the workplace too. You find yourself over apologizing, over explaining yourself, or even begging for them to talk to you. The best way to respond is to be aware of when it's a case of I need space to gather my thoughts and gather my feelings to then come back to you, and I'm using silence to control you. The best way to respond to someone that is giving you the silent treatment is to give them all the space that they want. That means don't beg, don't chase, don't feed their ego. Instead, you can try one of two things. So phrase a statement such as, I respect your need for space, but I won't tolerate being ignored, as a form of punishment. When you're ready to talk, let's hash it out. You can also say, I'm not playing this game. When you're ready to communicate, let's talk like adults. When the person that is dishing out silent treatment realizes that they no longer control you, they either have to communicate properly or lose access to you. So guys, triangulation, moving the goalpost, and the silent treatment are all designed to make you feel disempowered, insecure, and constantly chasing for approval. But here's what you need to remember. In a healthy relationship, you won't be made to feel like you constantly have to chase someone for their approval or fight for your approval. If someone is making you feel this way and making you feel like you're competing for validation, exit the competition, because odds are you're not the problem. You're just the one that's refusing to be controlled. Let me know in the comments as well. Have you been on the receiving end of any of these? Let's talk about it. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and protect your peace. I'll see you in the next video.